The chosen one. Lean in. This is not another video. This is a midnight summons. Something holy has put its hand on your shoulder tonight. I am speaking to the rare soul who knows the ache of waiting and the pull of destiny at the same time. Hear me, you are not standing at the edge of a coincidence. You are standing at the threshold of alignment. Heaven has moved furniture in unseen rooms to seat you here. The lamp of God is burning over your name, and the hour is ringing like a bell through you. There is a decree traveling toward you with the speed of light. It carries a promise, and a warning promise, that doors arranged before your birth are swinging on their hinges. Warning that hesitation could talk you out of what prayer has already talked God into. You were fashioned for more than survival. You were forged for holy assignments that carry weight in generations you will never meet. Tonight, the wind changes. The unseen calendar flips. The path you could not find in daylight will appear by starlight. Kairos is not a rumor. It is the room you just entered. You have felt the tremor, the sudden stillness in busy rooms, the prickle in your hands, the tear that arrives before the thought. That is not nervousness. That is the King announcing himself. He has watched your fragile yes, the obedience that looked too small to matter, and he has called it thunder. What the enemy designed to bury you became the soil that learned your name. You are not average. You are not late. You are the exception. Heaven hid in plain sight. Tonight is a pivot disguised as a whisper. The constellation of your steps is aligning connections, opportunities, reconciliations, strategies. Some will appear ordinary, but they are loaded like seeds with forests inside. Do not be surprised when what resisted you suddenly yields. Do not be startled when peace arrives like armor. Do not be confused when old appetites lose their taste. The Spirit is adjusting your appetite to match your assignment. I will tell you what the night knows. A sign will come swiftly. A sentence will find you, a key will fit that never turned before. There are names you will bless and rooms you will exit. There is a mantle looking for your shoulders. You will not miss it if you stay awake in your spirit. Lean closer. In a moment, I will unveil what is approaching, how to recognize it, and what to do when it knocks. But first, listen to the hum beneath your ribs. That is destiny arriving on time. Breathe. The author of this word is stepping into the room. Be still. The source will speak, and the veil will lift. The one who calls you did not borrow a voice from circumstance or chance. He speaks from eternity, and his breath still smells like Genesis. He is the Ancient of Days who sits outside of clocks, yet steps into midnights to steady hearts like yours. He is the author who wrote your beginning without consulting your fear, and the finisher who seals your ending without surrendering to your doubt. When he sends a word, it does not audition for approval. It arrives wearing authority. That is why your spirit is awake right now, because the sender is holy, and holiness makes everything else go quiet. This message did not crawl out of opinion. It came riding on covenant. I speak as a servant under assignment, bearing a letter stamped by a king who cannot lie. The ink is his faithfulness. The seal is his joy over you. He has watched you in rooms where no one clapped, in corridors where doors seemed welded shut in long nights, where your prayer had only one thread left to hold. He saved those tears like diamonds and traded them for direction. The stirring you feel is not performance. It is presence. The warmth in your chest is not emotion. It is evidence. You can trust the voice because it knows your name without rehearsing your mistakes. You can trust the voice because it talks to your future without condemning your past. You can trust the voice because it cuts chains and ties shoes, both sword and towel, in the same hand. He calls himself Father, so your heart can land. Shepherd, so your steps can learn fire, so your cold can thaw. And light, so your path can speak. He is not late. He is precise. He is not vague. He is vast. And yet he is bent low tonight, measuring the distance between your courage and your calling, and collapsing it by grace. This is the hour of unveiling, not because the clock says so, but because his calendar does. Destiny is not a rumor in his mouth. It is a decree. He did not bring you here to tease you with horizons you cannot touch. He brought you to put a key in your hand and the map in your bones. The weight you feel is not pressure. It is placement. He is seating you in rooms built before you were born, rooms that only open to those who arrive in humility and stay in obedience. Let your heart know this. The word you are hearing has an assignment to accomplish, not merely inspire. It will track you into the coming hours like a faithful hound of heaven, sniffing out doubt, cornering fear, and escorting you to the door that bears your initials. It will not leave you comfortless. It will tutor your focus. It will whisper when noise rises. It will roar when lies gather. And it will carry its own confirmation, for the God who sends the message also sends the sign. So open your hands. The Father is not asking you to carry a boulder. He is teaching you to hold a seed. The King is not demanding a parade. He is inviting a yes. The Spirit is not assigning a riddle. He is offering a lamp. Trust the sender and the sentence he sends. Feel the alignment, how it settles over your shoulders like a cloak tailored to your story. Breathe again. The presence has entered, and the path is beginning to glow. Chosen. 1. Hear it plainly. Prophetic alignment happens tonight. The tide that has resisted you is turning to carry you. I see a hallway of doors engraved with years you grieved and names you shelved. One door thin and bright like a blade held to light opens because you approached. When you cross that threshold, the scattered rooms of your story gather into one dwelling. Fragments begin to rhyme. The survivor in you and the dreamer in you finally recognize each other and agree to walk together. A table is set in a room you did not know you could enter. The chairs are marked with assignments, healing strategy, reconciliation, provision, voice, and one bears your name. A ring of small keys slides toward you. They look ordinary, but each unlocks an impossible. The talk you avoided, the form stamped not yet, the habit that drained your voice, the room where courage stayed behind. None of these doors yield to hustle. They respond to consent. Your yes is the turning torque. Your peace is the hinge. You will cross a line without ceremony when your life shifts by 1 degree. To impatient eyes, that degree looks small, but over distance, it becomes a new horizon. Watch for gentle signals, The email drafted without dread. The call answered without ache. The name spoken without tremor. These are the first ripples of alignment, the river that divided parts enough to walk. Soil that spat out your seeds softens for planting. Places that trained you to shrink feel too tight to contain who pressure made you. The blessing arrives as movement and as light. Movement touches the second half of stagnant things, projects that stalled conversations, that froze ideas stored like winter seed. Light enters rooms whose curtains were nailed shut. It stings, then steadies. Expect clarity to replace the fog you survived by instinct. Expect words for what you could only groan. Expect direction that ignores resume and honors surrender. This will not flatter your ego. It will fit your bones. It will feel like home where you once felt lost. Alignment manifests as invitation, not invasion. Heaven does not kick down doors. It knocks and waits for the courage you practiced in the dark. You will sense a clean ache that does not wound wake the gift. Send the message. Apply again. Rest differently. Serve where you wanted to be seen. Bless what once betrayed you. Forgive and reclaim focus. Fear demands public guarantees. Heaven grants private confirmations. Take them seriously. Small lamps appear along the path and refuse to burn out when you move. I am shown a night sky, once random, now traced with lines. What you learned in the hard year connects to the door opening now. The friend who left made room for a truer voice. The detour that shamed you spared you a counterfeit stage. Together, the stars spell a phrase only your spirit can pronounce. When you speak it in prayer, in simple planning, in a brave phone call, timelines bend to meet you. Coincidences cluster. The right name arrives without friction. Your steps begin to sound like agreement. There is a mantle involved. It hung in your closet like a garment you admired but feared to wear. Tonight, the Spirit asks you to put it on. It feels heavy for a breath, then right as rain after long thirst. This mantle is not celebrity, it is authority. It will not make you larger than others. It will make you faithful to what is yours. Under it, your voice finds its register. Your boundaries grow spine and mercy, and your hands remember their craft. The fit will quiet comparison and steady your pace. A sign will come swiftly. For some, a sentence you prayed returns through a stranger. For others, a closed figure reaches out without reason. For some, an invoice is settled, a debt forgiven, a diagnosis revised into hope. For a few, a dream with living water invites you to step where you once feared to drown. Do not worship the sign. Let the sign point. The point is the person who kept the promise breathing while you learned to breathe underwater. Follow presence, not applause, and you will not stray. Now the trial tucked in the blessing release, smallness disguised as wisdom. You will be tempted to negotiate what God has settled and to shrink your yes until it fits old rooms. Do not. Alignment favors unedited surrender. Speak what you are shown with humility and precision. Move when peace pushes. Stay when peace anchors. Refuse to over-explain yourself to those who preferred you unfinished. Love them and bless them but do not return to prove anything. You are not a rumor anymore. You are a release. I hear pages rustling in the courts of heaven. Your name surfacing where decisions are made. The clock you feared is being redeemed. Delays are refiled as training. The pit you fell into becomes the bridge others will cross. Your story enters its harvest paragraphs. Tonight, the page turns, and with it, the air around your life. Walk softly, but walk surely. Respond to the knock. Wear the mantle. Keep your lamps. The path is lit enough for the next step, and the next step is now. Open your spirit like a window at dawn. Now, we go beneath the surface to name what this alignment truly means. Alignment is not luck in holy clothing. It is the choreography of covenant. What looks like a door opening is your inner world agreeing with heaven's rhythm. Destiny moves at the speed of surrender. When you yield, the ground rises to meet you. When you resist, even wide gates feel narrow. This feels sudden because your yes finally has teeth. Consent becomes compass. Obedience becomes oxygen, and the path appears where fog once ruled. Time is a river. Purpose is the steady current beneath it. Many live on the surface, splashing and reacting to weather. The chosen one learns the undercurrent. You are not steered by headlines or moods. You are led by spirit. Prophecy does not invent your calling. It interrupts the noise that hid it. God does not coerce alignment. He invites congruence with the name He spoke over you before breath. Light is the first language of destiny. When the word speaks, darkness is not negotiated with. It is undone. Clarity may sting because it exposes scaffolding of fear that masqueraded as wisdom. Yet light does not shame. It reveals. It shows the truer door, the real cost, the narrow way where freedom lives. Storms were your other teacher. In that weather, you learned peace is presence, not conditions. You discovered that hope can breathe underwater if it inhales from heaven. A door is a sacrament of transition. Some lead out of bondage, some into burdened blessing. A door is holy because it demands decision. Linger too long in a threshold, and it becomes its own prison. Heaven timed this hour because you have lingered with enough wisdom to leave with courage. The old season is not evil. It is finished. Gratitude bows to it. Obedience walks away without apology. Seasons speak in colors. Winter taught roots. Spring asks participation. Summer trains stewardship. Autumn counts fruit without flattery. Alignment means stepping with the season you are in, not the one you envy. Out-of-season effort bruises promise and exhausts expectation. When you honor the season, grace multiplies the little and protects the much. Journeys reframe distance. You once measured progress by milestones you could photograph. Heaven measures by transformation. 10 steps with a clean heart travel farther than 10 years with a divided one. Arrival is not a dot on a map, but congruence in the soul. As you become like the one you follow, streets appear that maps forgot. Tonight feels like geography shifting because your inner country changed shape. Faith is allegiance to a higher fact. Doubt mutters, I cannot see the bridge. Faith answers, the builder is trustworthy. Obedience is the engineering by which the unseen becomes walkable. Forgiveness lays planks, blessing adds rails. Truth tightens bolts. Soon, a span exists where there was only air. Others will cross what you built. They will call it miracle. You will call it worship. Divine timing is cadence, not a stopwatch. Slowness, trained muscle for weight you could not lift when hurried. Delay tutored you in languages required in rooms where quick cannot speak patience, nuance, the eloquence of silence. Acceleration becomes safe when formation ripens. Speed without spine is spectacle. The Father would rather lengthen roots than decorate branches. He promotes into sustainability, not collapse. This is mercy. He protects you from platforms your character cannot yet carry. Suffering burns off disguises. Pain is a poor sculptor, but an effective refiner. It does not design destiny. It melts what lied about you, so the true form can stand. You are not the wound that taught a limp. You are the healed one who remembers how to walk others home. This is priesthood carrying scars like doors. Open them, and others find corridors back to hope language for their own return and courage to attempt joy again. Authority is resonance, not volume. When your interior agrees with God, words weigh more than syllables. You do not need to shout at mountains. You need to sound like the one who made them. Purity matters because compromise dilutes resonance. Integrity amplifies it. Holiness is not a cage, but a tuning fork. When struck, everything meant for you begins to hum. Rest is warfare in a culture addicted to adrenaline. Sabbath is how prophets refuse slavery. Sleeping in the storm humiliates the script that says panic proves you care. Rest is not laziness. It is loyalty to a God who works while you worship. Peace will guard what striving can only bruise. Provision will follow purpose like shadow follows body. Creativity as currency, gratitude as interest, generosity as circulation. So, the depth beneath this prophecy is simple and vast. Become congruent with the future God remembers, and creation will recognize you. Live true inside, and doors will blush open. Walk with the light, and shadows will negotiate their exit. This is not shortcut. It is the sure way. You are not earning favor. You are inhabiting it. Now, let inner revelation become outer confirmation. Watch for signs that rise like ink in water, precise and personal. When alignment draws near, creation begins to whisper your name back to you. The confirmations will not always arrive with fireworks. Many will come like soft footprints in fresh snow, clear enough to follow, humble enough to keep you listening. Receive them without superstition and without cynicism. Simply say, I hear you, and keep walking. First, sign the double witness. In a short span, the same phrase, scripture, image or idea, appears from unrelated places. An old friend, a headline, a lyric on a passing radio, a note scribbled months ago. You are not hunting it. It finds you, circling like a homing dove. The repetition is not nagging, it is knitting. Threads tighten until a pattern refuses to be ignored. You will feel the gentle nudge. This is not random. This is rehearsal for obedience. Second sign, sudden ease after long friction. A task that used to drain you collapses into place as if the bolts remembered how to turn. An application accepted. A meeting scheduled without chasing. A conversation you dreaded flows like water down a clean channel. Ease does not mean absence of effort. It means your effort finally lands on prepared ground. Peace becomes the lubricant for movement, and anxiety loses its argument. Third sign, holy discontent with counterfeit comfort. Rooms you tolerated begin to feel 2 sizes too small. The jokes you once laughed at now taste like dust. The compromises that seemed harmless tug at you like grit beneath the eyelid. This is not elitism. It is calibration. Your appetite is being refined to match your assignment. What you are leaving is not evil. It is simply finished. Gratitude bows, but obedience steps on. Fourth sign, clean interruptions. Plans you made with good intentions are gently rerouted. An appointment is rescheduled, and the new time introduces the exact person you needed. A delay deposits you in a quiet place where the thought arrives whole. A closed road reveals a shorter path you did not know existed. These interruptions carry peace, not panic. The detour feels designed, almost kind. You recognize the signature. Presence is editing my day. Fifth sign, recovered language. Words return for things you could only groan about. You find sentences for your calling that do not boast and do not shrink. Titles matter less. Function clarifies. When you pray, your phrases find spine. When you plan your lists, locate light. Even your boundaries learn grammar. No is no longer an apology. It becomes a bridge into better yeses. Sixth sign, small precise provision. Not a lottery, but a loaf at the exact hour you were hungry. Not an empire, but an envelope with just enough to obey. The currency may be money, but it may also be time favor or energy arriving like a second wind. The provision is shaped to the step, not the whole staircase, so that control cannot impersonate trust. You sense the Father's smile in the fit. Sometimes, confirmations come through others' honor, a quiet affirmation from someone who has nothing to gain by flattering you. They name the grace on you without needing you to perform for it. Sometimes, they come through holy memory, a childhood dream resurfacing with adult clarity. The old drawing in the back of a notebook, suddenly prophetic. Sometimes, through creation itself, a sunrise that speaks in your prayer's vocabulary, the way certain places hum when you arrive, as if the land remembers you. Do not demand spectacle. Welcome specificity. Ask. Let the signs be kind but clear. Record them without clutching. Share them with one safe voice who values obedience over excitement. And remember, confirmations point, they do not replace courage. The signs are road markers, not chauffeurs. Chosen. 1. You are already inside these signals. They have been trailing you like a melody, half remembered, now swelling into chorus. Notice, agree, and move. With signs in your pocket, you will meet what tries to unsettle you. Let us name the hidden challenges so they cannot hide. Before fulfillment steps into the room, shadows test the doorway. Not to disqualify you, but to deepen your discernment and anchor your peace. Expect the first challenge to arrive as familiar fatigue, not the honest tired that follows faithful labor, but the old heaviness that tries to sit on your chest right when momentum begins. It will suggest that rest equals retreat and that pause equals failure. Answer it by keeping Sabbath as strategy. Rest is not the absence of war. It is the weapon that deprives fear of oxygen and returns your strength to command. Second, beware the counterfeit invitation. When alignment approaches, imitations multiply. Offers will come dressed in urgency, demanding a yes that outruns prayer. The terms will flatter your hunger, but shrink your future. Read the fine print in the spirit. Do these doors require me to betray my boundaries, dilute my message, or rush my timing? The enemy cannot create. He can only counterfeit. If it sparkles but steals quiet, it is not provision. It is a trap with excellent branding. Third face. The whispering mirrors, voices that reflect your earlier self, reminding you of failures with photographic memory. They will appear in comments, in casual conversations, and in your own thoughts at 2 a.m. They do not argue facts. They litigate identity. Do not negotiate with prosecution. Answer with testimony. Speak what God has done out loud. Gratitude is a gavel. It ends trials that were never meant to be reopened. Fourth, meet the lonely stretch. Alignment often requires a brief narrowing of companions while new covenant partners are being summoned. The hallway between rooms can echo. Do not confuse transition with abandonment. Heaven is editing your circle to match your assignment. Bless departures without bitterness, and welcome arrivals without suspicion. Isolation is a lie. Consecration is the truth. Learn the difference, and you will not bleed on thresholds. Fifth, expect old appetites to audition. Patterns you buried will knock politely, offering relief instead of formation. They will promise quick anesthesia for real ache. Answer with better feasts, scripture that feeds friendships that tell you the truth. Work that engages craft beauty that lifts the head. Hunger is holy when it refuses crumbs. Sixth, confront the math of fear. It will count costs with a trembling hand, adding imaginary losses and subtracting invisible grace. Its spreadsheets never include miracles or multiplication. Bring your numbers to God and watch Him rewrite the cells. Stewardship is planning with heaven's columns intact purpose, people, peace, purity. Seventh, recognize silent sabotage, the tiny delays, the endless research loop, the inbox cleaning that masquerades as productivity. Perfectionism wears white gloves while it robs momentum. Trade flawless for faithful. Ship the obedience you can carry today and let tomorrow's excellence grow on today's yes. Finally, prepare for the backlash of blessing. Not everyone celebrates when your oil starts to shine. Some will reinterpret your humility as ambition. Others will call your boundaries pride. Love them anyway. Refuse public arguments. Keep private altars. Let results defend what explanations cannot. Remember, vindication is slower than rumor, but far more accurate. These challenges are not punishments. They are rehearsals for permanence. They teach you to breathe at new altitudes and to carry favor without fracture. Endure them with a yielded spine and a singing heart. You are not trying to deserve promise. You are learning how to inhabit it without leakage. You have heard what resists you. Now hear what prepares you. Receive the divine instruction that turns alignment into acceleration. Chosen. One instruction is how prophecy becomes path. Receive these steps like keys you keep near your heartbeat. Do them simply. Do them today. Urgency is not panic. It is precision. 1. Consecrate your morning and your mouth. Before you look at a screen, put your feet on holy ground. Sit up, breathe, and say aloud, I align my thoughts, words, and work with your will. Read a short portion of scripture out loud. Let truth tune your voice before the world asks for it. Then set a guard on your lips. Decide 3 things you will not say today: self-sabotage, comparison, complaint, and 3 things you will say: gratitude, blessing, clarity. Your mouth is a rudder. Set its direction early. 2. Write your yes where you can see it. Take a page and title it Obedience Today. List only the next faithful steps, not the entire life plan. 1 call, 1 email, 1 hour of craft, 1 apology, 1 application, 1 act of generosity. Doable, definable, measurable. Heaven multiplies what you move. Each checkmark becomes an altar stone. This is how you build momentum that can carry miracles. 3. Establish boundaries that protect oil. Favor leaks without edges. Draw invisible fences around prayer, sleep, focus, and people who speak life. Schedule them the way you would schedule meetings with a king, because you are. Say no for the sake of a larger yeses. If guilt knocks, remember, boundaries are not walls against love. They are doors that teach love where to enter. 4. Practice the discipline of small finishes. Pick 3 tasks you regularly abandon at 80%. Finish them this week. Completion is a spiritual muscle. It teaches your nervous system that you can carry weight to the line without breaking. The finished thing, however modest, makes room for the appointed thing. 5. Host the presence in ordinary rooms. Choose one place you frequent: a desk, a car, a hallway, and make it a sanctuary. Place a small reminder there, a verse, a phrase, a stone from a trusted shore. Every time you pass, slow by 1 breath and whisper, you lead, I follow. Sacredness is not in marble. It is in attention. Invite glory into the daily until the daily glows. 6. Fast from inferior fuel. For 7 days, remove 1 intake that dulls discernment, doom-scrolling, frivolous arguing, cheap entertainment that numbs rather than restores. In its place, add a strengthening rhythm, 30 minutes of craft practice, a walk that prays, a chapter that builds your interior. Fasting without filling is just hunger. Fasting with formation is power. 7. Reconcile where alignment requires it. If a conversation needs courage, schedule it. Go in soft-spoken, truth-anchored, outcome-free. Your job is obedience, not manipulation. Forgive debts of apology you may never receive. Release others from roles they could not play. Bless them into freedom. Reconciliation is not always reunion, but it is always relief. 8. Steward. The body that carries the calling. Sleep like someone with a tomorrow. Drink water as though your voice is a river. Move daily to remind your mind it lives in a temple. Eat to think clearly. This is not vanity, it is reverence. Your assignment deserves a vessel that can arrive. 9. Curate your counsel. Choose two kinds of voices: the elder who has fruit you respect, and the peer who has integrity you trust. Invite them to tell you truths you might outrun. Submit plans for prayer, not permission. If they caution you, listen. If they cheer you, move. Many counselors reduce error. A crowd increases noise. 10. Create margin for surprise. Alignment loves room. Do not schedule your days so tightly that providence has no place to sit. Leave a pocket of time unassigned. In that space, ask what joy or assignment is here. Sometimes the interruption is the instruction. 11. Build a secret history with God. Choose one act of kindness weekly that no one traces back to you. Give anonymously. Intercede for a name in silence. Send encouragement without signature. Hidden obedience builds authority that needs no microphone. Heaven trusts those who can love without applause. 12. Speak to your future with Scripture. Choose a promise and pray it by name, replacing you with I. Repeat until your inner world believes your mouth. The word renews mind maps and rewires reflexes. When pressure squeezes, what you have stored will speak first. 13. Practice courageous publishing. Ship your obedience into the world. Post the teaching, propose the project, pitch the solution, submit the manuscript, launch the small room gathering. Perfectionism is a thief dressed as excellence. Excellence arrives after release and grows by iteration. Trust God with the version you can make now. 14. Tithe your attention. Give the first tenth of your focus to what matters most in the kingdom and in your assignment. Before you chase urgent requests, invest in important callings. 10% of consecrated focus can redeem the other 90 from scatter and strain. 15. Make peace your traffic light. If peace remains while difficulties rise, proceed. If peace leaves while options multiply, pause. Peace is not the absence of resistance. It is the presence of rightness. Train your pacing to the Spirit's green and red. Yellow means pray not panic. 16. Keep a book of signs and seeds. Record confirmations and the seeds you're sowing: time, treasure, talent. Track harvests without entitlement. Gratitude will lengthen their season. When doubt argues, open the pages and answer with history. 7. Bless your enemies, bless your replacements, bless your successors. Speak life over those who may never return it. This keeps your hands clean for the keys you are about to hold. The kingdom travels farthest on undisrupted love. This is your sacred duty and your empowerment to turn prophecy into practice, to turn revelation into rhythm. Do not attempt them all at once. Begin where grace is brightest. The point is not speed, it is fidelity. When you move, angels arrange furniture. When you rest, the Lord plants gardens. Obedience is how you join the choreography already underway. You have your steps. Now receive your shield. Let assurance wrap you while you move in holy calm. Chosen one, as you walk these instructions, know this: you are not exposed, you are escorted. Protection is not only angels at your edges, it is presence at your center. The Holy One keeps company with your breath. He does not merely watch your path, he inhabits it. Your life is ringed with a quiet fire that does not scorch you, but blinds what hunts you. You will feel it as a steadying from within, a calm that refuses to collapse when pressure raises its voice. Think of a hedge grown from covenant. Its branches are woven from promises already paid for. Fear will test it, tapping like rain on glass, but the window holds. You will notice the difference between information and intimidation. News may knock. Panic does not have a key. What once pierced now only presses. What once threw you now merely leans. That is the evidence of a stronger frame. Protection arrives as clarity. The shepherd's voice makes counterfeits stutter. Confusion begins to feel like static. You can switch off. Your yes is encircled by no's that keep wolves from the door. Even your pace is shield rushing, invites accidents. Obedience keeps rhythm. When you match heaven's cadence, you exit intersections at the safest seconds, late to disasters, early to blessings, right on time for design. It also comes as companionship. Heaven assigns the right people to flanks you cannot see. Some will pray your name while you sleep. Some will simply sit in rooms where your spirit can breathe. Others will ask the question that pulls the thorn before it festers. Do not despise this armor of friendship. Isolation lies, intercession covers. Let yourself be carried on days when strength is a thin thread. This, too, is protection humility that receives help. Expect night watch. Dreams will warn and warm. You will wake with a phrase that steers your day 3 degrees, but over distance, 3 degrees, maneuvers you past snares and into provision. Write the sentence down. Pray it once. Walk it out. Heaven does not shout to scare you. It whispers to spare you. The still small voice is not weakness. It is accuracy. There is covering in peace. Anxiety tries to play bodyguard, but only exhausts. Peace is the true sentinel. It stands at the gate of your mind and filters what may pass. Feed it with gratitude, and it grows tall. Starve it with what-ifs, and it thins. Choose often to pause and bless the moment you are actually in. The present is a country where God is easy to find. This is your strongest refuge, and there is assurance in authority. When you speak from alignment, your words travel farther than your volume. You do not need to argue with darkness. You announce light. You do not need to rehearse old battles. You refuse them entrance. Say not here, and watch patterns pack their bags. Say, peace stay, and feel the room obey. Your life is a house under new management, and the sign on the lawn reads, "Glory dwells here." Lastly, remember the mercy of rerouting. Sometimes protection looks like delays you did not request. Closed doors you could have forced, or detours that add minutes but save years. Bless the edits. Providence keeps a map you cannot fold into a pocket. Trust the hand on your shoulder more than the speed under your feet. You are guarded, guided, and greatly loved. Wrapped and ready, you can face the horizon without flinching. Now, behold the shape of the change that awaits your faithful steps. Chosen, one transformation rarely arrives with trumpets. It comes like morning quiet, inevitable, altering everything without asking permission. You will notice it first in your breath. Where panic once lived, patience will unpack its bags. Where dread kept vigil expectancy will light a candle. The center of you, once a negotiation between fear and faith, becomes a sanctuary where faith holds the lease. Your sight will sharpen. You will look at the same landscape and see roads where there were only rumors of paths. What felt like rubble reveals foundations. What looked like loss reveals room. Instead of asking, "Why me?" you will hear your spirit answer, "Of course me not," with arrogance, but with alignment. Grace fits, and when grace fits, striving looks overdressed. Your voice finds its register. Words that once scattered will gather. You will name things with gentleness and authority. This belongs, that does not. Here I serve, there I cede. Now I wait, now I move. Sentences will not shout to persuade. They will ring, and ringing convinces. People lean in, not because you demand attention, but because your sound carries home in it. Work feels different. The tasks did not change. The oil did. Solutions arrive like sparrows, small and precise. You solve problems you once postponed, not by force, but by focus. Craft replaces comparison. In the quiet, your hands remember wisdom your mind forgot. This is fulfillment, taking shape as competence anointed by compassion. Provision shifts from scarcity math to kingdom flow. It is enough then, more than enough, for the assignment at hand. You stop hoarding for a drought that never comes and start sowing into fields that mirror your calling. Generosity feels like breathing. Money becomes a tool, not a tyrant. Doors open that resources alone could not unlock, because favor pays invoices money cannot see. Your past loses its power to narrate. Memory remains, but it serves instead of sabotages. You touch old scenes and do not bleed. You open old journals and bless the person who survived them. Forgiveness ceases to be a chore and turns into a lifestyle, a river irrigating every field you farm. This is healed tenderness without the tremor. Joy chooses you, not the helium kind that pops when the needles of news arrive, but the granite kind that sits and stays. You laugh in rooms where you once walked on eggshells. You sing with a voice you were told was too quiet. You celebrate small finishes and watch them stack into vast outcomes. Gratitude makes your ordinary glitter until others ask for the recipe. Fulfillment does not turn you inward. It turns you outward. Authority makes room for service. Influence becomes intercession. You carry answers to questions people could not articulate. You host peace in an anxious era and hope in a cynical one. Your life preaches without a microphone, not by spectacle, but by steadiness. And when opposition arrives, as it always does, you do not flinch. You bless, build, and keep moving. The storm that once defined your year becomes the weather you work in. This steadiness is not denial. It is dominion. You do not ignore winds. You harness them. Here is the picture, you walking light cloaked in quiet fire, your steps leaving water where others find drought, your table long enough for strangers to become stories, your nights restful, your mornings expectant, your middle hours fruitful. Not perfect present, not famous faithful. The kingdom is heavy in the air around you, and people breathe easier because you came. Receive this with unembarrassed joy. The promise was never bait, it was blueprint. Tonight, the scaffolding comes down and the house stands. Not just a house for you, but a house for many doors, on every side lamps, in every room bread, warming in the oven. Welcome home, builder priest. Fulfillment is not the end. It is the environment from which you now begin. Let the seal be set on your heart and on this hour. Now receive words to carry and a blessing to keep. Chosen one. Let your heart hold these final words the way earth holds rain, without argument, without hurry, with gratitude that knows how to drink. What has begun in you tonight does not require louder striving. It requires steady believing. Speak with me now, not as wishful thinking, but as alignment that knows its name. Affirmation. 1. I move at heaven's cadence. I will not miss my moment. Affirmation 2. My yes has weight. My peace is my guide. Affirmation 3. I am protected, provided for, and positioned on purpose. Affirmation 4. What God begins in me, God completes through me. Let these sentences be flint on your tongue each morning and a lamp at your bedside each night. Whisper them in hallways between decisions. Sing them under your breath when the day grows loud. They will turn keys in rooms you thought were sealed. They will train your reflexes to answer fear with memory and answer hurry with holiness. Now, receive the seal. May your mind be a quiet garden where truth grows tall, unbothered by the weeds of worry. May clarity rest on your brow, like oil that will not evaporate. May you discern the soft footfalls of counterfeit and greet them with a smile that says, "Not here." May your steps carry the sound of agreement. When you move, may the ground remember the covenant and rise to meet you. When you pause, may rest guard you, like a gate that only opens for peace. When you speak, may your words travel farther than your volume, weaving healing where you stand. May companions appointed by heaven find you. Without strain, intercessors who carry your name, like treasure counselors who love your destiny more than your comfort friends, who laugh with you when the miracle is still seed. May you be released from every performance that hid your purity and from every shame that dimmed your courage. May provision arrive in the shape of your assignment, enough for today, more for the mission overflow, for the ones you are called to bless. May your hands remember their craft, and your voice remember its register. May you bless those who misunderstand you, and may your fruit answer questions your explanations cannot. May your nights be watched, and your mornings be met. May dreams tutor you, and daylight confirm you. May the mantle fit so naturally that comparison falls away like an old shell. May your story preach without a microphone, and may houses of peace spring up wherever your feet linger. I bless you to walk through the door that already bears your name. I bless you to wear the garment you once feared to touch. I bless you to carry joy, like quiet fire, and to build tables where strangers become stories. The seal is set. The page has turned. The alignment holds. Go in faith. Go in tenderness. Go in holy boldness. The King has smiled over you, and his laughter is your crown. Amen.